Systems of inequalities. You're going to sketch the solution for each system of inequalities. I would suggest using 3 colors so you can see where they overlap. There is one problem where they don't overlap. Show all work. So these are some notes for you to use. So number 1, both of these are already set equal to y, and they're in the mx plus b form. So the first one, the y-intercept is 1, and the slope is 4. So I go up 4 and over 1. This is a positive line. I can go down 4 and over 1. This would be a solid line because it's greater than or equal to, and since it's greater than or equal to, I shade above. I'm going to switch colors to the next one. The y-intercept is -2. The slope is also a positive 1. Up 1, over 1. Up 1, over 1. I can go down 1, over 1. Down 1, over 1. It's also going to be a solid line. It's less than, so I shade below. And now you have to look and see where they overlap. Well, the black one is going up and the blue is going down, so where they overlap is this tiny space right here. That space where they overlap is the answer, this red section. And you can also include the lines because it's greater than or equal to or less than or equal to. Number 2 is just like number 1 because they're both already set equal for y, and you just plot the y-intercept and the slope. Both of these would have solid lines because they're greater than or equal to or less than or equal to. Number 3, before you graph, you have to get them so y is by itself. Get y alone. So the first one, in order to get y by itself, I'm going to subtract x to the side of the equation. I have -1y is greater than -1 minus x. I multiply or divide by -1. And that would make my equation y. This sign flips because I divided by a negative. +1 and positive x. So my first line is at +1. I have a slope of 1 over 1. And it's positive. So I keep going up 1 or down 1 to the left, or up 1 to the right. And I have a solid line. It's less than, so I shade below. The next equation is x plus 3y is less than or equal to -9. Again, y is not by itself. If I subtract x to the other side, I have 3y is less than or equal to -9 minus x. I divide by 3. Y is less than or equal to -3 minus 1/3 x. So this time my slope is a -1/3 and my y-intercept is -3. So my line has to go in the opposite direction of the black one. So up 1 to the right 3, or down 1 in this way. Again, it's a solid line. It's less than, so I shade below. And where do the 2 lines overlap? Let me extend my black line a little more. They overlap in this area. Again, you can include the ordered pairs on both lines because they're less than or equal to, and they have the equal to sign. So example 4. Notice I have 4x plus 3y is greater than or equal to 9. 4x plus 3y is less than or equal to -9. Neither one of these are solved for y. So I'm going to take the first equation and solve to get y alone. I'm going to subtract 4x, subtract 4x. 3y is greater than or equal to, this time I'm just going to have a negative 9, it's a positive 9. So that is the same thing as saying 9 minus 4x. If I divide by 3, I have y is greater than or equal to negative 4 over 3x plus 3. So this line would start at positive 3 on the y-axis, because that's my y-intercept. If I go down 4, I want a negative line, so I go towards the positive 3. A solid line, so my first line looks like that. I'm going to change this equation into slope-intercept form. I would have 3y, I would subtract the 4x over, I divide by 3, so negative 3 minus 4 over 3. That is the same thing as saying negative 4/3 x minus 3. So my y-intercept is negative 3, and my line is also a negative, so I can go up 4, but I want a negative line, so I have to go to the left. Solid line. So the blue line we would have shaded above since it's greater than. The red line is less than, so I shade below. Do these two lines overlap? No, they do not. So there is no solution because the two colors do not overlap. 5, you have to get those two equations as y by itself. So the first one, you could simply subtract x to the other side, and that would be your first line. Your next line would be greater than negative 6x minus 3. You could try using your calculator for this, and both sides of the y equals would have the triangle shaded above. The last example. This example is also not ready to graph. So if I take 2x minus 3y less than or equal to negative 9, if you need to do this, you may. I'm going to subtract the 2x because it's positive 2x minus 2x, negative 3y is less than or equal to. Now you can put the negative 2x in front or behind, it's up to you. I'll do this way first. Dividing by negative 3. Therefore my inequality sign flips. Negative and a negative is a positive. Positive 3. There's my first line I'm graphing. My second line. I'm going to subtract the 4x. Subtract the 4x. This time I think I'll keep the negative 9 in front to show you that it doesn't matter. Divided by positive 3, so my sign does not flip. Negative 9 divided by 3 is negative 3, negative 4 over 3x. So to graph this line, my y-intercept is 3, my slope is 2 over 3. So I rise 2, run 3. Fall 2, run 3. It's a positive line. It's a solid line. It's greater than, so I shade above. Down here, my y-intercept is negative 3. I have a negative line. My rise is 4, my run is 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. This time I have a solid line still. It is less than, so I shade below. Let me extend my line a little more to show you that it overlaps in this region. Remember, these types of lines you shade above. These you shade below. If you have greater than or less than, it is a dotted line. Greater than or equal to or less than or equal to, you have a solid line. All these problems we're working on, we already did with just one equation. Now we're using two equations and seeing where they overlap.